it is 9 p.m. in RTD's time to English New Edition. For tonight's headlines, we have the head of state chairs the precedence of the 20th sessions of the Council of Ministers. Nearly 40% of the fertile land affected by drought. Welcome to our newsroom under the chairmanship of His Excellency the Head of State and Head of Government Ismail Omar Guelleh was held this Tuesday, December 10. The 20th sessions of the Council of Ministers. Several texts were examined and approved during this meeting. Listen to the acting government spokesman.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sous la présidence de Son Excellence, M. Ismail Omar Guelleh, président de la République, chef du gouvernement, a eu lieu ce mardi 10 décembre.
Ministry of Agriculture and Water, Fishery, Livestock and Fishery Resources. First question, draft laws approving the financial statement for 2020, 2021, 2022 and 2023 of the National Food Analysis Laboratory. In 2023, Lana reported revenues of 386.6 million franc Djibouti and expenses of 581.2 million franc Djibouti, slightly up from the previous year. Main expenses including purchases, management, cost and personnel. Accounts receivable are 13.6 million franc Djibouti, while borrowings from credit institutions are 37.6 million franc Djibouti. Lana invested 5.1 million franc Djibouti in IT equipment, software, construction and infrastructure in 2023. Second question, draft decree adopting the 2025 budget of the National Food Analysis Laboratory, LANA. The 2025 budget for LANA is balanced at 442.4 million, representing an increase of plus 31.4 million franc Djibouti from 2024 budget. Lana plans to invest 52.6 million franc Djibouti in 2025, focusing on constructing and expanding the administrative building, acquiring laboratory, furniture, IT equipment and air conditioning system and transport vehicles. Ministry of Infrastructure and Equipment. Third question, draft law approving the air financial statement for 2023. The Djiboutian Road Agency reported 1.37 billion franc Djibouti in revenue and 1.34 billion franc Djibouti in expenses for 2023, with a surplus of 29.89 million franc Djibouti revenues. Expenses decreased from 1.74 billion franc Djibouti in 2022 to 1.35 billion franc Djibouti in 2023, mainly driven by reduced third-party costs and personal expenses. Fourth draft decree approving the 2025 budget of the Djiboutian Road Agency. The 2025 budget is set at 1.611 billion franc Djibouti, up from 1.55 billion franc Djibouti in 2024. Revenue includes 665 million franc Djibouti from infrastructure maintenance, 300 million franc Djibouti from new housing projects, 28 million franc Djibouti from services, 20 million franc Djibouti from studies, and 367 million franc Djibouti in state subsidies. Operational costs will increase by 69.4 million franc, with 427.1 million franc allocated to external services. Personnel costs will reach 880.2 million franc Djibouti, up to 7.2 million franc from 2024, with 397 employees expected. Minister of Economy and Finance in charge of industry. Fifth question, draft decree approving the 2025 budget of the Djibouti Economic Development Fund. The 2025, the fund budget is 358 million franc Djibouti in revenue, 322 million franc Djibouti in expenses, with a surplus of 36 million franc. Revenues are slightly down from 385 million franc in 2024 to 358 million franc in 2025, mainly from state subsidies. Expenses are projected to drop to 297 million. The Djibouti Economic Development Fund plans to invest 25 million franc in upgrading infrastructure, equipment, IT, office furniture, and transportation. Ministry of Defense in charge of Parliament's relations. Sixth question, draft decree approving the 2025 budget of the Military Pension Fund. The 2025 budget is balanced at 2.86 billion franc Djibouti, down from 2.96 billion franc in 2024. Expenses total of 2.86 billion, with 2.61 billion allocated to pension. The 2025 investment budget is 33.5 million franc for CMR, building renovation, office IT equipment, and transportation assets. Minister of Health, seventh question, draft decree improving the 2025 budget of CAM. The 2025 budget is 1.866 billion franc in revenue and 1.831 billion in expenses, with a net result of 35.4 million, up from 26.3 million. In 2025, CAM plans to renovate, build 2 regional warehouses, and acquire new vehicles to improve distribution. Minister of Energy in charge of natural resources, eighth question, draft decree approving the 2025 budget of the International Oil Company of Djibouti. The 2025 budget is 58.3 billion franc Djibouti in revenue, 27.7 billion franc Djibouti in expenses. Operating expenses are 57.6 billion franc Djibouti with 54.9 billion for oil purchases. Key 2025 projects include building a multi-project storage site in the Demerjog Industrial Zone, importing bitumen to supply regional markets, in developing LPG storage projects. Communication, the Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fishery, Livestock and Fishery Resources presented a report on his participation in the COP16 conference held under the theme of Our Earth, Our Future from December 2nd to 13th, 2024 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The Minister of Youth and Culture reported on her participation in the 19th Intergovernmental Session of the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage held from December 2nd to 17th, 2024 in Paraguay. During the event, she participated in the ceremony for the inscription of Har Isa in the representative list of Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. The minister also announced the evolution and perspective of Djiboutian Archives Symposium, scheduled for December 18 and 19, 2024 at the National Archives Agency under the theme State of Djiboutian Archives, Assessment, Challenges and Perspectives.
In anticipation of the Jadala Africa scheduled for this Friday, December 13, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, arrived in Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia, yesterday evening. He was warmly welcomed by Djibouti's ambassador to Ethiopia, Mr. Abdi Mahmoud Abe. Marks the official start of his participation in this major Pan-African event. It also marks a crucial stage in his campaign for the presidency of the African Union, organized under the auspices of the African Union and the Jadala Africa debate for the continent's leaders and key figures to debate the challenges and opportunities facing Africa. The presence of Mahmoud Ali Yusuf is a particular importance of his candidacy for the presidency of the African Union. He will to share his ambitious visions for the future of the continental organizations and Africa as a whole. The day after the minister's arrival in Addis Ababa, Djibouti's ambassador to Ethiopia, Abdi Mahmoud Abe, made an official statement this morning from the Djiboutian diplomatic residence. In his address, he stressed the importance of Mahmoud Ali Yusuf's participations in the Jadala Africa debate. According to the ambassador, this event an exceptional opportunity for Djibouti to highlight its ambitions and visions for the African Union. The Minister of Health inaugurated on Monday, December 9, a scientific workshop on the invasions of the new vector malaria treatment.
Ministry of Health hosted the scientific workshop on the invasion of the new vector and treatment for malaria, organized in partnership with the World Health Organization, a prestigious event held at Ayla Hotel in the presence of the Minister of Health, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, the advisor to the President of the Republic, as well as the Deputy Representative from WHO. The objective of this scientific workshop is to promote reciprocal exchanges with the world of knowledge on the fight against vectors and scientific research concerning malaria, and brought together several countries from the sub-regions as well as experts from international institutions, regional as well as national institutions. Experts and researchers from Yemen, Sudan, Somalia, Somaliland as well as South Sudan took part in the work of the scientific workshop on the fight against Anopheles stephensi. As a reminder, the government of Djibouti, with the support of the company Ozik Tech, has implemented the Mosquito Alliance of Djibouti strategy, which consists of using genetic modification mechanism by introducing 2 modified genes into mosquito population to reduce the transmission of malaria by controlling the population of Anopheles stephensi and Aedes mosquitoes. This vector, which is currently expanding Anopheles stephensi, is a disease of the century which can jeopardize scientific development in the management of malaria.
The advisor to the President of the Republic and the WHO Deputy Representative thanked participants for their outstanding contribution to this scientific workshop.
Very much happy to be part of this meeting on vector and malaria drug resistance and controlling threats in the the Horn of Africa region and part of the network of the HANMAT. Thank you very much for Djibouti to have us in the country. Thank you.
So I came here to attend the meeting, the Horn of Africa network meeting, and I'm glad I'm here, and thank you very much.
In his address, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdillah, expressed his satisfactions to host this event, underlining the importance of researches in the fight against Anopheles stephensis, a major vector of malaria. The Minister of Labor, through ANFIP, in partnership with the USAID and Al-Rahma Center, organized a ceremony yesterday to award certificate to 47 young people trained. More details.
Ministry of Labor through ANFIP in partnership with USAID and the Al-Rahma Center organized a ceremony to award certificates to 47 young people trained in the building and public works professions. These training courses focus on plumbing, refrigeration, and air conditioning, as well as electricity, have been developed to meet the growing needs of the construction sector, an essential pillar of Djibouti's economic development. In addition to technical skills, participants benefited from sessions dedicated to employability and security standards led by United States Embassy to strengthen their preparation to enter the job market. The colorful ceremony brought together the Secretary General of the Ministry of Labor, the Ambassador of the United States, representative of USAID and ANFIP, the Director General of Al-Rahma, as well as several employers of the construction sector. This initiative demonstrates the commitment of the government and its partners, including USAID, to promote a competitive local workforce, reduce youth unemployment, and support the country's economic growth. The event concluded with the official presentation of certificates and a networking session offering employers the opportunity to meet these young talents ready to join the job market.
An important delegation led by the Executive Secretary of IGAD, Dr. Workneh Gebiyehu, visited the Ali Sabih region yesterday, accompanied by including the Secretary General of the MENFOP, Mohamed Abdallah Mahyoub, the Honorable Deputy Engineer Ilmi Mahabeh, the Ambassador of Ethiopia to Djibouti, Mr. Berhanus Segai, and Philippe Kwesam Krepis, representative of the offices of the United Nations High Refugee in Djibouti, and Ms. Fathia Abubakar Alwan, Director of Health and Social Development Divisions of IGAD. The delegation included numerous regional organizations. On their arrival, the Prefect Abdul Malik Mohammed Benoita and the President of the Regional Council, Sharmaki Hassan Alale, gave them a warm welcome in the official lounge of the prefectural residence. The objectives of the supervision missions. The purpose of the mission was to assess the progress of infrastructure projects, including the technical high school and the community development center, while ensuring compliance with the deadlines and the standards, resolve the operational challenges encountered by constructionists and file supervisor, reinforce IGAD's commitment to projects aimed at improving the living conditions of local and migrant community, improve the visibility of IGAD initiatives by demonstrating the importance of investment made in its member states, draw lessons for similar projects in the other areas of the IGAD region. The delegation first stopped Ali Adde, home to a large number of refugees from neighboring countries, welcomed by the sub-prefect Chaban Daher. The delegation visited the construction site of the Community Development Center. On the side, the members of the delegation noted that work was progressing at a steady pace. These infrastructures, including administrative buildings, schools, health center, sanitary facilities, and drinking water systems, helping to improve the living conditions of local and refugee populations while strengthening migration management. The second stage, Ali Sabih Technical High School, After the towers, the delegation held a meeting in the Al Sabih Technical High School, the region's capital, which is currently being renovated and extended. They attended a detailed presentations of the two projects underway, highlighting the transformative impact of this project on local residents. The chairman of the regional council, Sharmaki Hassan Allale, declared this infrastructure are largely financed by the Federal Republic of Germany, representing a turning point for the region. So they will strengthen and open up new opportunities for education and community development. The strategic fund is the IGAD Regional Migratory Fund, financed by Germany via KfW, supports initiatives to manage migratory flows while improving local infrastructure. These investments are part of an approach to economic and social development in cross-border areas. Ms. Fathia Abu Bakr Alwan, Director of IGAD's Health and Social Development Division, stressed that emphasized that this mission reflects IGAD's commitment to vulnerable populations in remote areas. This project embodies our commitment to building a better future for all. The prefect of the region, Abdul Malik Muhammad Banoita, said that the purpose of the mission was to assess the progress of infrastructure projects, including the Technical High School and Community Development Center, while ensuring compliance with the deadlines and standards, resolve operational challenges encountered by constructionists, and file supervisory. For his part, the Secretary General of the MENFOB, Mohamed Abdullah Mahyoub, said that reinforces IGAD's commitment to projects aimed at improving the living conditions of local and migrant community, improve the visibility of IGAD initiative by demonstrating the importance of investment made in its member state. The Pan-African Parliament official missions to Goma, a commitment to peace and democracy. The Honorable Hussein Muhammad Ali, the representative and deputy head of delegations of the Commission for Cooperation and Resolutions of Internal Conflict, took part from December 3 to 9, 2024 on an official mission to the city of Goma in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This mission is part of the efforts of the Pan-African Parliament, efforts to strengthen democracy, promote peace, and address humanitarian and security challenges in Africa. During the mission, several priorities were addressed: the promotions of good governance, with the particular emphasis on respect for democratic principles and human rights. The sixth new magistrate sworn in the Court of Appeal on Monday, December 9, 2024, a swearing-in ceremony took place during the formal hearing of the Court of Appeal, presided over by the first president of the Court of Appeal, Mr. Nim'a Ali Warsama, in the presence of family members and of the new magistrate. This important ceremony was held at the court house, more than precisely at the courtroom number 3, and enabled the judicial institutions to welcome 6 magistrates. They are Abdurrahman Galab Darar, Osman Abdi Suge, Adan Ali Buh, Muna Mumin Gedi, Usman Jama Usman, and Wais Muhammad Ali. In accordance with the rules in force, the President of the Court of Appeal reminded the new magistrate of the work ahead of them and insisted that the judge obeys only the law and serves with impartiality and respect for everyone's right. After this introduction, the 6th magistrate took the stand and took the oath. The stopover of the Peace Ark in Djibouti, a strong symbol of Chinese Djiboutian solidarity. The hospital ship Peace Ark of the Chinese People's Army Navy docked in the port of Djibouti for a week as part of the Mission Harmony 2024. This event marks an important milestone in the strengthening of bilateral relations between the Republic of Djibouti and the People's Republic of China, illustrating their shared commitment to international solidarity. During its stay, Peace Ark offers specialized medical services to the civilian population of Djibouti. This ship, world renowned for its medical capabilities, offers general consultations, specialized examinations, and even complex surgical procedures. Working closely with the local authorities, Chinese medical personnel respond to priority health needs, bringing tangible relief to many families. To ensure the success of these humanitarian operations, the Djibouti Coast Guard deployed an exceptional to ensure the success of this humanitarian operation. In coordination with the civil authorities, it ensures managing patient flows and ensuring the safety of medical infrastructure, facilitating linguistic and cultural exchanges thanks to the two Djibouti non-commissioned officers fluent in Mandarin, acting as translators and cultural mediator. Joint maritime surveillance with the French Navy reinforcing security around the port. Colonel Wais Omar Boghorre, commander of the Djibouti Coast Guard, welcomed this initiative in the following terms. The peace arc embodies a new milestone in the friendly and strategic relations between Djibouti and China. This commitment goes beyond humanitarian aid. It symbolizes a solid collaboration in our common quest for peace and development. This humanitarian mission highlights the tangible impact of bilateral relations on the well-being of the local population by combining expertise, resources, and solidarity. The Peace Arc stopover represents a model of sustainable and mutually beneficial cooperation while strengthening of a historic friendship between the two nations. For the international scene, Gaza, 15 dead in 24 hours in deadly Israeli raids, and the Israeli army announces 3 soldiers killed, 12 wounded in the fighting of Jabalia, north of Gaza. Listen to Aisha Abdullah.
Israeli airstrikes in northern Gaza have left several dead and injured, particularly among civilians sheltering in a school and hospital, worsening an already critical humanitarian crisis according to medical sources and the WHO. Several people were killed in Israeli airstrikes that targeted a school turned into shelter and civilians in the northern Gaza Strip, according to a medical source and witnesses. The latter said that Israeli planes had struck the Abu Hussein school when hundreds of civilians had taken refuge in the Jabalia refugee camp in the northern Gaza Strip. A medical source indicated that the attacks left several dead and injured. According to witnesses, the Israeli strike caused the collapse of a large part of the school building.
Concerning the United Nations, 14% of fertile land threatened by drought, according to a report presented at the UN summit.
Of the planet's land is drying out and compromising the ability of plant and animal life to survive, according to a United Nations report released during talks in which countries are working to resolve the problem. The report was released at the UN summit in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, on combating desertification, once fertile land turning to desert due to higher temperatures from human-caused climate change, lack of water, and deforestation. At the talks, which began last week and are due to end on Friday, nations are discussing how they can better help the world cope with drought, a more urgent lack of water over a shorter period, and a permanent problem of land degradation. Agriculture is particularly at risk, with drier land less productive and hurting both yields and the availability of feed for livestock, the report said. This can lead to food insecurity for communities around the world. Aridity also leads to more migration as erratic rainfall, land degradation, and frequent water shortages make it more difficult for regions or nations to develop economically, according to the report. This trend is particularly visible in some of the driest regions of the world, such as Southern Europe, the Middle East, North Africa, as well as South Asia.
And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.